CTV News with Ricardo Veneza.
Canada is the second largest investor in the United States today, in the world.
Trade tensions between Canada and the USA remain as Ottawa announces new supports for a $20 billion industry. Good evening. Work continues towards securing a deal with the White House on lowering the tariff wall it's raised. But that tenuous, uncertain and fluctuating situation hasn't stopped the $300 million plan to build auto parts in Windsor from moving into phase 2 of the project. CTV's Robert Lothian brings us to that major announcement today and what it could mean for the city's future.
A multi-million-dollar signature linking parts manufacturer Minth and automotive supplier Eisen. The two sides announcing Tuesday phase 2 of Minth's $300 million Windsor manufacturing plant.
So we are very honored to have the opportunity to stand on the shoulder of a giant.
The investment bolsters Minth's plans for producing electric vehicle components here in Windsor. This separate 150,000 square foot facility will produce parts for Eisen clients.
So they are entering into this joint venture to enjoy the competitiveness that we can provide while serving their longtime customer, their main customer.
Though Chin was hesitant to directly name that main customer, a news release labels Eisen as a major supplier of Toyota, who previously announced plans to produce 1 million EVs annually by 2027.
We actually have a facility in Stratford today. And so some of these products that will come out of this facility probably will land in that factory.
Minth first announced plans in April to build more than 300,000 square feet of automotive manufacturing space. The investment comes as Canada faces a flurry of U.S. tariffs and waning EV demand. But those tensions, Turpin says, will end eventually.
We think that that is going to be short-lived, that the two countries will continue to work towards some mutual agreement. So we want to make sure that we're not letting politics drive our business decisions.
The development sits on 54 acres of vacant land on Cabana Road East. Despite the uncertainty, Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins says there are $6 billion worth of projects in the pipeline.
We are putting the city of Windsor in a great position to be able to service and expand the airport land, which means companies like this who are looking to make investments and hire 1,000+ people in the community, we are ready to go at their speed.
Minth plans to open the doors on its new facility in September. Robert Lothian, CTV News.
Now, as we mentioned at the outset, as trade talks continue, Prime Minister Mark Carney announcing new measures today to help the softwood lumber sector. It employs nearly 200,000 Canadians. As CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, the supports are just one part of the trade war pushback.
Unveiling new measures to snap the Canadian softwood sector's U.S. market dependence. Today, Prime Minister Mark Carney promised new loan guarantees and grants to help keep lumber companies afloat, accelerate product development, diversify markets, and fund retraining efforts.
We cannot count or fully rely on what has been our most valued trading relationship for our prosperity.
The move comes after the U.S. raised duties last month, prompting calls to make resolving the dispute a priority in the broader trade talks. Talks that Carney said today are continuing, despite U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff escalation last week.
I haven't spoken to the president in recent days. We'll speak when it makes sense.
Mark Carney has to deliver.
While polls show Canadians appear willing to give Carney more time, pressure is increasing as they watch Trump make deals with other countries.
Canadians are increasingly worried about Trump and the state of the trade negotiations. Concern on that front has been increasing over the last number of weeks.
Today, as both countries work towards a new North American trade pact, two of Carney's top ministers are in Mexico, talking to officials about how they secured a 90-day pause on higher tariffs.
Perhaps we can also learn something from their approach. They took a much more measured and perhaps low-key approach, and it seemed to work for them.
All of this coming the same day that new federal data shows Canada's merchandise trade deficit has widened to the second highest on record since April's historic dip. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
And as you heard there, Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand and Finance Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne are in Mexico to strengthen economic ties. Here's what Anand had to say about that trade mission.
The bottom line is that we are building the momentum in the Mexico-Canada relationship, and we're making sure that this relationship will stand the test of time and that it is a comprehensive strategic relationship on the axes of the economy and geopolitical issues, including security.
The trade war appears to have hit tourism in the region as well. Tourism Windsor-Essex Pelee Island is reporting American visits and hotel stays are off to a slower than usual start. And the tourism agency is pointing to economic concerns as the main driver of that slowdown. Agency head Gordon Orr hopes to see activity pick back up for the back half of summer.
I think at the very onset of this, we thought there would be an onslaught of Americans coming over and a lot more domestic visitation because of that sort of patriotic feel that we have to support Canadian and support Canada. So we've seen that. We just haven't seen, they're not gangbusters, right?
Well, looking at the travel sector, Air Canada flight attendants have voted overwhelmingly in favor of strike action to back contract demands at the bargaining table.
We're tired of being undervalued, underpaid, and often not paid at all.
The union representing more than 10,000 workers says the vote saw 99.7% in favor of a strike if necessary. The vote comes after contract talks with the airline ended without a deal. The union says it could now walk out to support its negotiating position as early as August 16th. Now to the courts, where 2 Windsor parents have pleaded guilty in the death of their infant child. More than 2.5 years ago, Windsor police say a 9-month-old baby was found in the family's home without vital signs. It would take police more than a year to lay charges. A 29-year-old mother and 28-year-old father are both charged with manslaughter and failing to provide the necessaries of life to a youth in their care. This summer, the man pleaded guilty to the lesser charge in May and was sentenced to 2 years house arrest and 3 years probation. The woman pleaded guilty as well just last month. She faces a sentencing hearing sometime in the fall. 3 people from Chatham are charged, tied to an ongoing drug trafficking investigation in that region. Fentanyl, cocaine, methamphetamine, hydromorphone, and BB guns were all seized, with what police say is a street value of more than $17,000. A Chatham business says a newly established encampment is changing his summer operations.
We don't know that somebody's coming here and doing drugs in our wash bay in the middle of the afternoon and overdosing and needing medical attention. We don't predict that.
Bee's Knees ice cream owner Dustin Ryan says he's closing up shop after an overdose at the business last week. 9 students are on staff, and Ryan says the ice cream truck is no longer a safe place. About 40 tents are pitched across the streets on the Public Utilities Commission property. The municipality is examining options to move encampments further away from residential properties. Until there's action, though, Ryan says the doors are staying closed.
We can't just up and move our ice cream trailer anywhere because we need running water and we need hydro. And we have bylaws that are in place that we have to follow to be safe food operational with the trailer. So there's not really anywhere else in town that will suit the needs.
This weekend, Windsorites gathered to mark the city's 5th annual Emancipation Jubilee.
We know what has happened in the past, and if we as a people, if we forget our past, it's doomed. We are doomed to repeat it.
The 3-day event featured concerts, church services, and elder talks. The Jubilee marks the Emancipation Proclamation on August 1st, ending slavery in Canada and other British colonies in 1834. In commemorating the historic event, the Windsor-Essex Black Council says there is still much work to do today, including representation in managerial roles and black youth employment.
We still have to get over is the ideas that people have in their minds about all kinds of different peoples, right? That makes them different or other. And people have to start understanding that essentially underneath, we're all the same, right? And that's really what the goal of all of this about, so that we can all be free to just be who we are and be accepted and loved on this earth just for that.
Also this weekend, Hogs for Hospice roared back into Leamington for the annual motorcycle ride in support of end-of-life care. More than 1,000 bikes hit the pavement for the charity Tour the Tip Ride. The weekend featured concerts, motocross shows, along with food and more. All proceeds support Erie Shores Hospice. Now, before this weekend, organizers had estimated the event has raised about $5 million throughout the year so far.
I think it's a good cause because people actually realize that there might be one day that their family needs this. And it's actually, like I say, a big family, and we continue to grow, and it's amazing. And people will come up for the ride, for example, and pay for the ride and just donate an extra $100. Everybody's very generous, and everybody's out to have a good time.
Yeah, I really got to take part in that ride one of these days. Haven't done it yet. That's a shame. Well, after the break, CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is going to join us to talk about some of the smokiness we're seeing in the region and how much more sunshine we've got in store.
This unit puts them on with no fear of the horse taking a misstep.
Still ahead, the mechanical horse that's made its move to southern Ontario and the help it aims to offer. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining us now for a check of the forecast. And Gary, we have some hazy conditions to contend with, and maybe putting a bit of a damper on what is otherwise a nice stretch of summer weather.
You're right about that. Good evening once again, Ricardo. Folks, temperatures have been in the mid to upper 20s across much of southern Ontario, and even warmer still with the humidity, at least what it felt like, in the lower 30s in extreme southwestern Ontario. The humidex value about 32, 33 today. Reached a high of 30, our average just shy of 28. Indeed, only the, polluted air put a damper on things. But there is some good news. I think a couple of reasons why. Well, obviously, we're in this polluted air mess because of the wildfires, but they're well to our north. The wind pattern is set up as such that it drove a lot of that polluted air south. It sat here because the winds died down. It became stagnant. We'll see a couple of things take place late Wednesday night through Thursday with scattered showers in and around the lower Great Lakes, but most of it stays stateside for Michigan, upper Ohio, parts of western Pennsylvania. Indiana might get into it, but we're not likely to see much. The winds coming from west, working their way east, those westerlies, will help to usher in those scattered showers around the lower Great Lakes basin, but also help to clear the air mass and improve air quality. So if we get rain, we do need it. Take a look around your garden. It's somewhat stressed if you haven't been watering it. 18 degrees through the overnight, mostly clear of clouds, but still smoky. And will be smoky through tomorrow morning. And then things just get sunnier as we head towards the afternoon. Here's my breakdown for your Wednesday for Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent, a similar look. Mixture of sun and cloud, the story for the morning through the midday. Will go from 21 at 8 a.m. feeling like 28 to a warm 26 feeling like 33. The winds picking up out of the southeast, sustained at 15 kilometers per hour. Will gust in the 30s, and therein lies the improvement that we anticipate in terms of the air quality because the wind's picking up. Wednesday, sunny in the afternoon. And we'll still see sunny conditions and fair weather Thursday, a high of 28, 30, and 31. Friday to Saturday, mostly cloudy to fair, and then Sunday's fair. Note the weekend, 31s apiece. Feels like about 35, 36, so we do warm up come the weekend. Monday, Tuesday, 29 and 30, possible showers, thunderstorms in the afternoon Tuesday. I think it might be a little cooler than 29, 30. Let's look at your weather.
Okay, Gary, thank you for that. Well, this weekend, a pair of LaSalle siblings squeezed in some time to help animals in need.
Because I wanted to get money to give to the animals.
Well, good weather for it. Leah and Lyndon White had pitched a lemonade stand on their front lawn on Saturday. Sales of lemonade, cookies, and books supported the Windsor-Essex County Humane Society. Now, from neighbors to LaSalle firefighters, a lot of people came out, customers helping the stand to raise, get this, $500, not too shabby, to help animals without a home. They're hoping to make the charity now an annual event.
Probably just because everything matters. Really, everything on Earth matters. All the money, we're helping everyone. When we donate, we're helping the animals. I know Leah really likes to help animals because she loves them.
Couple of good kids there. Well, Canada's main stock index had a pretty good start to the trading week, up 426 points. The American markets, though, heading in the other direction. You can see there the Dow down 142, while the Nasdaq slides 86. The Canadian dollar virtually unchanged, resting at 72.52 cents U.S. Gold up almost $16 an ounce, while oil dips 80 cents a barrel. Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. The Titan submersible disaster that killed 5 people more than 2 years ago now could have been prevented, according to a new U.S. Coast Guard report. CTV's John Vanavalley-Rao reports and brings us the details of the findings released today after the sensational story made headlines around the world.
What happened to the Titan submersible and the loss of everyone on board, including a teenager, was examined extensively by the U.S. Coast Guard. And with the release of a more than 300-page report, an investigative board finding what many have long believed, that this marine casualty and the loss of 5 lives was preventable.
I'm mad because it happened, and I'm sad that all these people lost their lives. And that's why, to me, it should have never happened. It shouldn't have been allowed to happen.
The report placing blame on OceanGate, the American company behind the experimental sub, run by CEO Stockton Rush, who perished in the implosion. It cites inadequate design, certification, maintenance, and inspection processes for the Titan, adding there was a toxic workplace culture. Some who expressed safety concerns were fired or threatened with dismissal.
To start operations, was there pressure?
Oh, 100%.
The report finding the submersible was used despite several prior incidents involving its carbon fiber hull, adding OceanGate was able to operate Titan completely outside the established deep-sea protocols. The Titan had been on a dive off Newfoundland carrying passengers who paid up to $250,000 to see the wreck of the Titanic when the submersible imploded.
The good news is they would have been killed instantly, so they wouldn't have suffered. But they shouldn't have been killed in the first place. This was preventable.
In a statement, OceanGate, which is no longer operating, said we again offer our deepest condolences to the families of those who died and to all those impacted by the tragedy. The report also notes if CEO Stockton Rush had survived, criminal charges against him would have been considered. John Vanavalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Canadian medical experts say measles transmission in our country continues to soar. As CTV's Pauline Chan reports, it could mean Canada loses its status in just weeks as a country where measles has been wiped out.
Canada was declared to have eliminated measles in 1998.
So measles elimination is defined by the World Health Organization, and it means that within a certain geographical area, in this case Canada, that there is no sustained transmission of measles over a 12-month period.
Jana Shapiro from the University of Toronto says it doesn't mean there were 0 cases, just no sustained transmission.
And now that we've seen a resurgence in the past year or so in Canada, we are at risk of losing that elimination status in 2025.
10 of our 13 provinces and territories have seen cases. Alberta has over 1,600 cases of measles, and Ontario has seen more than 2,300.
We really had our bulk of our cases in kind of March, April, but that's not yet the case in Alberta. I think there's still quite a few new cases being reported on a weekly basis.
Many of the cases sprang from a single event in New Brunswick last October, which led to transmission in other provinces.
I have a lot of concerns. Very deep concerns professionally, foremost, and also personally. Professionally, because measles is truly the most contagious virus that you can come in contact with.
Michelle Canor was diagnosed with measles in May and was hospitalized for several days despite getting a vaccination decades ago. And as a teacher, she worries about measles spread.
Average 32 kids in a classroom in city schools. It would be a really dangerous thing to have classrooms of children taken out by the measles. And most will manage it. Most will be able to be resilient and overcome it, but some may not.
Shapiro says Canada could lose its measles eliminated status as early as October and says public health vaccination efforts must continue. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Now to the growing issue of e-transfer fraud. The method of payment has become incredibly popular, now accounting for $1 billion in transactions every year. But as CTV's Pat Foran reports, that popularity makes it a target for scammers.
I was shocked. I thought this could never happen to me.
Lola Bielavuk of Toronto was using Poshmark, a website that brings together buyers and sellers, allowing users to purchase new and second-hand items. Bielavuk posted pajamas for $40, and someone offered to buy them.
I saw a link there that was for $40, which is what I was selling it for, an e-transfer. Perfect.
Bielavuk says she was sent what looked like a regular e-transfer link, so she decided to deposit the money.
I clicked Tangerine. I put in my client number and password. So I entered in the security code thinking everything is fine.
But after she did that, the website froze. Someone she didn't know added their name to her e-transfer contact list, and she was scammed out of $2,740. This happened in January. She's been trying for 6 months to get her money back without success.
And I was told that my claim was denied, that I was the one that was negligent.
Tangerine Bank told CTV News Tangerine will never ask you to download software or remote access apps, and you should never share your login information or one-time passcodes with anyone.
Think before you click. Just don't go ahead and click on links that have been sent to you.
Cybersecurity expert Ritesh Kotek says AI is making it easier for criminals to create real-looking e-transfers and banking websites. He says scammers send fake links hoping you'll click on them.
You think you're logging into a financial institution such as your bank, but in actuality, you're logging in and giving your information to these fraudsters and hackers.
Kotak advises using auto deposits, strong passwords, and making sure you're on trusted websites. After CTV News reached out to Tangerine Bank, they reviewed Bielavuk's case again and told her, our recovery efforts with the other financial institution were ultimately successful and your funds have been fully recovered. Bielavuk has now been given a full refund, which was great news for her.
Thank you, CTV, for helping me get my money back. From the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful. Thank you for everything.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Pure Country 89, Windsor's country music station. Pure access to the biggest stars and the hottest songs. Download the free iHeartRadio app to listen to Pure Country everywhere.
A major gaming and technology event is coming to Windsor later this month.
Excited to welcome back the Summoning for its second annual year, running at St. Clair College.
The Summoning, Windsor's Collectors and Esports Convention, will be held August 23rd at the St. Clair College Esports Nexus Arena. Organizers say the event will feature card game tournaments, esports competitions, robotics challenges, and interactive workshops for all ages. New additions this year include hands-on demos from Geniotech Robotics and an introduction to FIRST Robotics, which is, of course, a well-covered STEM education program.
Community, competition, and collectability. So we're a collecting con tied in with the esports, video games. So we merge the two together and we bring it to life.
Okay, Gary is back with a wrap of the 7-day forecast. Gary, what are we waking up to tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning, sunshine. I think it's going to be a warm start through a warm midday and afternoon, Ricardo. High of 28, feels like about 35 at peak, close to about 4:35 p.m. in the afternoon. Thursday, a mixture of sun and cloud, 28, a low of 17 in the early morning pre-dawn. Showers on a mostly cloudy Friday are possible, but the relative probability stat is low. Probably about 25 to 30%. The weekend warms up as of this point in time, Saturday and Sunday. 31 feels like about 35 to 37. And then Monday, Tuesday, looking at fair weather to start the work week for most. Monday, 29, the high 30, and a chance at some showers and or thunder shower activity a week from now, Tuesday afternoon through the evening. That's a look at your weather, and have yourselves a good night. Ricardo?
Okay, thank you, Gary. Well, finally for us tonight, a new kind of horse is turning heads up the 401 and helping riders build confidence in the saddle. CTV's Rita Ismail has that story for us tonight.
A Western-style saddle.
This is Cassidy, a full-size, state-of-the-art mechanical horse designed to mimic the real thing.
This horse has a movable head in two places, so the head moves, the neck moves. There are sensors all under the saddles.
Cassidy is an interactive dressage simulator used around the world to help riders of all levels improve their skills safely and efficiently. And it's now available here in London. Local trainer Heather Broadhead is now offering lessons on Cassidy, aiming to give new riders a feel for the sport before they ever climb onto a real horse.
Getting on the simulator can take you through numerous gates rather quickly, so you can go your walk, your trot, and your canter in several speeds, and this way you can get that muscle memory and know how it's supposed to feel when you get on a live animal.
Standing at 150 centimeters tall, complete with a realistic mane and tail, Cassidy came all the way from the UK with a price tag of roughly $100,000.
Showing you where you are on that.
Equipped with sensors, the simulator gives real-time feedback on posture, balance, and leg pressure, data riders can see instantly on a screen. And it's not just about learning to ride. Broadhead says Cassidy is also helping people recover from injuries.
Nice thing about the biomechanics is you can give them the confidence and work them through programs to get them rehabilitated. And this unit puts them on with no fear of the horse taking a misstep.
While nothing replaces the connection of riding a live horse, Broadhead says Cassidy provides the skills and the confidence that translate directly to the real world. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Okay, very cool. Well, that is our time tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow at 6. Until then, I'm Ricardo, Veneza, and for everyone here at CTV on both sides of the camera, have a great night.